Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
This is David Scotney, vocalist for Janus, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guest do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather, and as always, I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a privilege to have Mr. David Scotney. He's the vocalist and guitarist of Janus. Janus has released their first single in 6 years, a cover of the Cars' huge hit Drive, in support of the stigmatizing bipolar disorder, which is out now via Music for Good label. Also, when you purchase the single, all proceeds from the sale will benefit the JED Foundation, an organization that promotes mental health and suicide prevention to spread awareness and acceptance. And that is a huge, huge thing that we should be focusing on right now, because so much has happened in the past, 5-10 years with this. So without further ado, David, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me on.
Not a problem. Glad to have you on the show to talk about all this, because you've got a lot of stuff just going on with this, man.
Yeah. It's a very, very kind of different approach to music. Certainly different from one I was kind of used to back with the last kind of iteration of Janus, which is kind of what really inspired me to kind of get back into kind of making music and just approaching it from a very different point of view. So making it much more about the cause and the mission and the advocacy side of it, to try and do some good and then really let that mission kind of drive the creative process.
How's it been working with For the Win Media so far?
It's been awesome. Jamie's very hands-on, super engaged, lots of ideas, much more of a collaborative, I think, creative partner than kind of just a one-way street in terms of, typical PR that I've experienced in the past. So it's been great.
I want to touch on this just a little bit. How much has this affected you as far as being able to be a musician since this single is the first one in 6 years? Let's talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind, because you guys stepped away for a while and then you put out this single. So let's talk about that just a little bit, if you don't mind.
Sure. So the last version of Janus, we were a four-piece, and musically the dynamics were very, very different than kind of my current setup. So it was very, very driven by our guitar player and his kind of songwriting process, and then I would write lyrics and melodies to whatever music he would create. And the focus and message behind a lot of what I was singing about was somewhat personal, somewhat abstract, and the approach that I'm taking now to music is very, very different. It's 100% driven by the inspiration around a cause or an idea that is something that I want to raise awareness about, raise money for non-for-profit groups that are trying to do good, trying to help our fellow man. And then that really is the passion and drive underneath all of the music. And then from there, whatever lyrics that might inspire, it all starts from a very different kind of place than the last version of Janus. Since the last record that we had written, I had studied a little bit of songwriting and music theory, just in terms of picking up the guitar and approaching the songwriting process kind of 100% on my own, so that I'm kind of armed with kind of the tools that I need to be able to craft all the music for any of the new material that we're working on and going to be releasing.
What brought this to the forefront for you when you were listening to the song Drive and reading over the lyrics? What was it for you that made you say, man, I've got to step up to the plate. I've got to do something to help these folks to step forward with this?
The inspiration particularly around the Drive song, came from very serendipitously at a point in my life where my family was struggling to rally around a family member who was struggling with bipolar disorder. And at the same time, I was going through kind of that personal challenge. I had listened to that song, stumbled across that song, and I was really struck by some of the lyrics in that song that clued me into the fact that there was more underneath the surface than just that, the hook, who's going to drive you home. Mm-hmm. When you get into the lyrics, you start to realize that there are questions in there that are very powerful and very significant in terms of their meaning and their purpose, in terms of someone trying to reach out to someone else that is struggling with some mental health. And I once I took a hard look at the lyrics, I got that, and when I watched the video, got that plain as day. And wow, here's an opportunity in the song, not only musically, so reintroduce that song, people aware of the fact that its original is really about mental health, and a lot of people got that from the original. So I thought there was an opportunity to shine a light on that, and at the same time, get a little heavy-handed with the actual statistics specifically for bipolar disorder in the video, so that we were not missing an opportunity to just hammer home some very powerful statistics.
What do you hope everyone takes away from this single, or message you hope they hear while listening to it, or just Janus music in general? What do you hope they get from it?
My hope is just that we help start the conversation, help be part of the conversation, help people connect with information that they might not have been aware of, and help destigmatize people to whatever cause it is that we're trying to raise awareness about, get them fired up and passionate about contributing to the good that we're trying to do, whether it's buying a T-shirt, streaming the song. This first cause and mission is really about bipolar disorder and mental health. And, if people can go to our YouTube channel, YouTube/Janus Chicago, share the video, watch the video, leave a comment, learn something from the video. A lot of people that have seen the video find some of those statistics really powerful. Just the fact alone that the disorder goes so widely undiagnosed.
Yeah.
But that once it is diagnosed and properly treated, that it can have fairly high success rates in terms of the actual treatment itself. So there's information there that I think is valuable, and that my hope is that people get inspired and fired up about the message, moved by the music, and want to contribute and participate, and maybe want to share it with a friend or share it on social media and be part of that conversation as well.
That was going to be my next question. Do you think there has been an increase of mental health over the last, 15, 20 years, or has it just been misdiagnosed, you think?
I think that in general, as a society, we're starting to talk about it more, but I think that we've got a long way to go. I think that we're just starting to scratch the surface of removing the stigma and starting the conversation, particularly about bipolar disorder. I think that's, there's a lot of talk recently, or has been a lot of talk about suicide prevention but not as much about bipolar disorder or other kind of mental health disorders that people are still functional and getting through their days, but are still having challenges on a regular basis. So I think we're moving in the right direction, but I think we got a long way to go.
I think you did something really awesome by creating this nonprofit record label, Music for Good. I honestly think this is a huge step for anyone who wants to get the voice out there to help out with this. What's excited you the most about creating this nonprofit record label for you, man?
I think it was, having been through the music business and seeing kind of the dark underbelly and some of the ugliness around it, and so much of what I didn't like about it was tied to the capitalism side of it. And so for me to be able to literally and physically separate the money and all of the capitalist kind of financial side of it with the creative process has been the most rewarding. It's so refreshing to be able to go into the studio and work on music and record music and not have to think about whether or not an A&R person is going to be able to market that in a way that's going to make them, money. It really is a fresh and inspiring perspective to approach everything that we're doing through the lens of how can we help people.
You also teamed up with Samaritan Mag. How's working with those folks on this? Because this is a big platform possibly for you all.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited about any and all the partners that have come to the table that are excited and passionate about what we're doing. We're excited to work with. So, but I haven't had a chance to kind of sit down and one-on-one talk with those folks yet. But I know that we're lining some things up, and we're excited to partner with them.
What bands are you looking to work with on this label, or does it really matter who it is at this point?
You know, I know at the moment I primarily focused on the first couple Janus singles as a platform to really cement the label and get some music and some good videos and causes kind of activated. But in terms of where it goes after that, and any other artists that we may collaborate with or put out their music and focus on and shine a light on their causes, sky's the limit there. And we're excited to kind of see and listen to any and all options when it comes to, you know, who we might be able to partner with and who we might be able to support in terms of their platform and their message.
Yeah, that was going to be another question of mine. With these bands that you do bring on eventually, would they have the option to choose which foundation or which organization they work with, or do you have one primarily that you want to work with?
No, I think that we would honor and respect kind of the artist's kind of direction and what their mission might be focused on. I think obviously we'd want to make sure it aligns with our core values and that the organizations are reputable and that it truly is the best possible alignment for the artist as well as us as a label. So, but I think it's a collaboration, and I think it starts with good, healthy dialogue and you know, a shared vision.
I know you mentioned you're focused on the first 3 Janus singles for this record label, but could we see an EP or a full-length album from the label to, you know, with other bands on it to benefit other organizations or possibly maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're just getting started, right? So we just released our first single less than a week ago, and we're working on kind of pounding the pavement with that message and that video and that single. But as we release more Janus singles, I think we're really excited to be able to put out other records or EPs that are focused on other great charities and great causes.
Folks, you want to get out and pick up Janus' first single in 6 years, but this is a great deal what they're doing. This is the Cars version of Drive that they're doing. Also, this is going to benefit the JED Foundation with all the proceeds going to them, and you can go to www.jedfoundation.org. And like I said, all donations go to them. Mr. David, how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Support this foundation, everything you're doing. How can you do that, my friend?
So stay in touch with us on Instagram at Janus Band, JANUS Band. BAND. I run that Instagram. We're going to be putting out more content kind of focused on the advocacy side, on the research side of the Drive single, so raising more awareness for bipolar disorder by sharing some of the research that we found, other resources where people can go to learn and get more information. Definitely go to our YouTube channel. So it's /Janus Chicago, JNUS Chicago, and the single's the first one on the list there. Watch the video, share the video, leave a comment, tell us what you think about the video. Share it on your social media, share it on your Facebook, and be part of the conversation. Help us get the message out.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Sure. This is David Scotney, vocalist for Janus, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Please get out and support this cause that David is putting together, because this is simply awesome, and I think there needs to be more folks focusing on this. Please get out and support this foundation and everything that David's doing. Thank you, David, so much for being on here. Check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link, YouTube link, and soon our Twitch link and everything like that. And plus, like I said, get out and check out this fine organization that David's going to be helping out. So, David, I wish you guys the best of luck, and anything you guys need, and Jamie's listening, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, because I would love to help out with this.
Thank you so much for your time today.
listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.